Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir. Sir, by the way, I have a question. Are we
Yes.
having holiday on June 1st?
June 1st. What is the academic calendar sheet?
It's Pancasila Day.
Let me check. June, maybe.
So our final project submission will be on before the midterms on 8.
Before, how about next week? Can you submit it next week?
Next week. So on the 25th
Yes, next week is
for the
holiday.
final.
Yes, next week
No.
is right.
No. Next 2 weeks is right.
Next 2 weeks, yes. June 1 is a holiday. Correct.
Okay, so we submit on the 25th or on 8th June? Which one?
25, is it okay with you?
I guess.
So what you are lacking is only refactoring and unit tests, and then you make it into classes. So on the 25th, can you present? And then you can submit it on June 8th. The final submission will be on June 8th, is it okay? But next week, you present.
Yes, it's okay, I think, sir.
Okay, so next week just presenting, but we will submit on Moodle in June 8th.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. That will be the compromise. So, again, what you're lacking is only unit tests, make it into object-oriented, right? And then do some refactoring, right? So,
For the program, sir. Do you mean
yes, for your group projects, yeah.
Yes.
So all I will do is to run your unit test and it all pass, right? I mean, how I will check your program. So I will check your unit test, right? Then when it all pass run, of course, the unit test, you need to put all the possible problems and no problem at all. Okay. For each value, you try to put the boundary. Okay. So if it is string, you try to input numbers. If it is number, try to input string and so on. And test it so that it will be robust. Meaning if user make mistake, okay, then you can still solve that. Okay, today I want to discuss with you the remaining part of object-oriented programming. I think this is a very important lesson. Last meeting we have discussed object-oriented programming in Python. Okay, we have discussed about class and object, and then how to initialize an object. And we discussed about information hiding in encapsulation, and also how to create into a private method or private attribute. And finally, we talk about inheritance. So up to there, is there any question about last week meeting?
No, sir.
No problem, yeah? Okay, so today I want to discuss about abstract class first. Let me show you. What happened to this? Can you see my screen?
We can see your screen.
Good. So abstract class. Oh, maybe before I discuss abstract class, I want to discuss about this. Okay, let's do it in here. Say you have a class something like this, rectangle. Okay, let's copy and paste the code here. I will create a new notebook. Okay, say you have this class, rectangle. Okay, so in this class, say R1 is rectangle, the width is 2 and the height is 4. Okay, so then I want to know R1 area. Rectangle is not defined. Okay, rectangle. There. The rectangle area is 12, right? Now, look at this. The area is a function, right? How do you know it is a function? It's a method, method or function. So how do you know it is a method or function? I can see that from this bracket, parentheses. Okay, so I know that area is a method or a function because to call the area, I need to use parentheses, correct? Okay, so in Python, there is another way, okay, to show that, okay, this is a property. Okay, this is how you will do. So I will create a new one. Okay, exactly a new one. I copy exactly the same, but now on top of that, I will put decoration. This is called decoration, called property. Can you see it? By doing so, okay, when I put decoration here, property, okay, when I copy exactly the same, right? It doesn't work anymore. Why? Because now area become property instead of method. To call this, you need to remove the parentheses. There. By having decoration like this on the top of a function, okay, that function is now behave as property. It is no longer a method. Can you try?
Okay, sir.
The meaning of decoration here. Decoration here, decoration of property decoration mean you will change the method into property. Can you distinguish between property and method? Method is a function, that means you need to have parentheses. Property, you have no parentheses. You see here, this is the example. This area is a method. That's why to call that, you need to have parentheses. Area in here is a property, so you don't have parentheses. Is it clear?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
Clear? Livy, is it okay? Joy?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Clear?
Sir,
Okay. Yes, please.
then if is it property, then is it like only like an object or
Okay.
meaning of the property?
Yeah, object consists of two, right? Object equal to method plus property, right? So by having decoration like this, add property, that means you change the method into property.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Next. Now, in object-oriented programming, okay, what you will do is first you create abstract class. Why? What is abstract class? Okay, abstract class is a blueprint, a contract, okay, that all other classes will inherit from it. Okay, this is like an agreement. So when you design, first you design the class, the abstract class, okay, and then everything that you put is just an interface. That means you create a method, you create properties without any implementation, just pass, pass, pass. Okay, why? This is very useful because now you know the common interface for various implementation of the method and the properties. Okay. In programming, what you need is communication between programmers. If you create a big program in a group, right, on your team, so you need to have common agreement. What is the input? What is the output? Isn't it? That input and output is called interface. Okay, that's why we have what is called API. What is API? Application Programming Interface. Right? So API, what is that? Application, okay, programming interface. So the most important part here is the interface. Okay, what is interface? The input and output. So that means in any program, when you design, okay, all you need to do is to design the input and the output. That is the interface. Okay. Now, having abstract class is practically you design the input and the output of the classes. Okay. I'll give you an example. Say, I have this code with this not abstract class. So I have a class named shape, and then inside that class have a method called area. Okay, and then I have class rectangle that inherit from the shape, and then initially it will get input of width and height. Okay, so let's try this. You copy and paste this code. My question, can we calculate the area of rectangle D in here?
Sir, we are still on the whiteboard.
Can you see it?
Yes.
So I have class shape. Definition of area is just pass. And then I create the class rectangle inherit from the shape. okay, have input of width and height. Then I input it here. The width is 3, height is 5. Can I calculate the area? So I name this rectangle D. My question, what will happen if we calculate the area of rectangle D?
Nothing will happen because we haven't defined area yet. The
Okay,
area is
correct.
pass.
Okay, area is just pass, right? So nothing will happen. Okay, so this kind of thing is not an abstract class. Okay, so now if you want to create an abstract class, okay, all you need to do is to import this, import ABC. Okay, so here I will put exactly the same, then I just add import, and then in here I put ABC. Okay, and then I will call this abstract method. I will call this abstract method.
Sir, I have a quick question.
Please.
How many abstract class can you have?
How
Like, can you
many?
have more?
Oh, good question. You can have many, because basically by defining abstract class, you're defining the interface.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so what happened is when you put this, okay, use it, area is an abstract method, okay, and you do this, what will happen? It generates an error, right? It generates an error. This error is something that you want. Why this error happen? Look at the type error. Cannot instantiate abstract class rectangle with abstract method area. What is the meaning of this? Meaning that rectangle supposed to have a method called area. Okay? Because rectangle did not implement area as one of the method, that's why it generates error. Say, if I did not even ask to like this, it's again the same error.
Sir, if we
Yes.
cannot use the abstract method, then what is it for? If we cannot find that.
Oh, the purpose of design is to generate error. Meaning that, okay, I create this design and then I send to you, right? You cannot change the abstract class. You can only change the rectangle. Okay? As designer, I design the abstract class. As programmer, you will do the real class that you need to do, which is the rectangle. Okay? So I will protect this abstract method, abstract class. I put it in another folder that you should not change this. I tell you, you should not change this. Then you create class rectangle based on that shape, right? And then it will generate error. Then you know that you are missing one method. What is that? Area.
Oh, okay, I see.
You understand? Why? You know, because it said that I need to have area as a method. You got it? So meaning that I can, as a designer, I can force my programmer, hey, programmer, you need to have this area as your method. If you don't implement this, it will generate error. Cool, right? You understand? Without this, you will not, programmer make mistake you don't know, right? They name it not area small letter, they put it area capital letter. You don't know, right? Then if there is no communication between programmer and create a problem later on, right? But having abstract class, then you have a good communication because the interface the name will be the same, all program. Because you design it that way. Do you understand? In object-oriented programming, now you design the program, not through a program, yeah, through abstract class. Can you see that? So abstract class is basically a contract. You must do it this way, like that. Okay. Later, when you implement it this way. Okay. In abstract class itself, there is no implementation. It's just us. Okay. Is it clear or not?
Yes, it's clear, sir.
Clear, yeah? Joy, Livy, clear or not?
I'm still confused, sir.
Okay. Which part?
The one you said that why is it create error?
The error is something that you want to make. Without error, the programmer does not know, okay, that they need to implement dev area. So, okay, let's try. Okay, in this example, now the programmer say, oh, it's error. What is the error? Cannot instantiate abstract class with abstract method area. Then that programmer, if having learning Python like this, so then he or she will implement this, right? Dev area, okay? Then it will not make error anymore. Why? Because without this area as method here, okay, it will generate error. So they know, the programmer knows that, look, this error means I did not implement what is in the abstract method. Is it clear? In the real team, okay, one team like in Microsoft can have 1,000 of people, you know. They rarely meet to each other, right? So how they will communicate to each other, that is through abstract class, through the interface, through the comment. Okay, by making it error, so you deliberately tell the programmer, hey, you make an error here. Why is error? Because in the abstract class that I design, okay, you should have implemented this method named area. Is it clear now, Livy?
Yes.
So it's like a requirement for like other programmers. Like you gotta
Very
have
good.
this.
Yes, Joy, you summarize it perfectly. So you create a requirement for you as designer, okay? You create requirement for the others programmer to do it exactly like what you design. Okay, this is what is cool in object-oriented programming, isn't it? Because you now can create a design in the code. What is design? Design means the input and the output, right? The name of the class, the name of the method, the name of the property, isn't it? That's how you design. How you implement, what algorithm, what data structure is up to the programmer. You don't need to care about it. But the name must be the same. Right? And then when you do refactoring, most probably the name does not change because you already designed the interface. So when you said you design the program, what do you design? The name of the function, the name of the class, the name of the parameter. Okay? That's how they design. Inside, how it works, later. The implementation to make it work, you do it later. The programmer is supposed to do that. But as software engineers, software designer, what you design is the interface. Clear? Yeah.
Sir, can I show you mine because
Yes,
mine
please.
doesn't work.
Please. It doesn't work.
Oh.
Okay. Show. Stop sharing and share.
Yes. So I've imported ABC, and abstract method.
Because in the shape you need to put ABC.
Oh,
In the shape you
where?
need to inherit ABC.
also here. Oh, inherit
33.
ABC.
Yes, ABC. Correct.
Oh, I see. So
Run it.
this. Then, oh, okay. So yep.
Yes.
So
Right.
we just have to
Yes.
inherit
Yes.
ABC. Okay.
Correct. So that it will become abstract class.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Good. So when you try, then you will know. If you don't try, you don't know. Right? So very important, right? Because now you can design. Okay. Now you can communicate in a team. Can you see that? Okay. If you just make a one-person program, that is small program, you know. But if you have 10 people working together as a team, that is the real program. Okay, because now you need to communicate, right? How do you communicate? How you communicate through making them generate error. That error is deliberately you make it. Okay, remember in programming, if you receive error, you should be happy. In fact, we create an error deliberately. Okay. The beginner's programmer will say, oh, why I have error? Why error? Error is mean happy. If your program does not generate error and it doesn't work properly, then you are in trouble. The real trouble happens because of logical error. If computer can generate error, that's mean happy. Okay, so yes, please.
Sir, can I show you mine because
Yes,
I have
please.
a different one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Abstract method no design. Can I see up when you go up a little bit?
Oh, you have to import ABC, abstract method. You have to import both.
You need to comma here. Abstract method. Abstract.
Oh,
R.
okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay, no problem. Joy.
Mine works just fine.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so understand the meaning of abstract method and how you design object-oriented programming. So you create requirement for your programmers, okay, through abstract method. Okay, so the next lesson is about multiple inheritance. Actually, I'm very hesitant to talk about it. But, okay, this is part of the lesson, so I need to still discuss about this. Okay. Python allow multiple inheritance. How do you create multiple inheritance? So you just type class, okay, the name of the class, child class, and then the name of the parent class, right? You can have parent class 1, parent class 2, parent class 3, and so on. Now, if possible, this is my message is just simple. If possible, don't do multiple inheritance if it is possible. Okay, Okay, why? Because it can lead to what is called diamond problem. So go to that link in diamond problem. You will go to Wikipedia, right? So suppose you have this is called deadly diamond of death. Okay, so you have class A in, and then B and C inherit from A, right? So alone that one. Now another class D using multiple inheritance, okay, inherit from B and C. Okay, D inherit from both B and C. Now the problem happens if there is a method in A, okay, that already override in B and C. Okay, and then D does not override. The question is now, what is D inherit? From B or from C? Right? So then this is problematic. Different programming languages have different methods to solve this. Okay, in Python, there is an algorithm called MRO, Method Resolution Order, to prioritize the parent from left to right in order. Okay, so here is the example. Okay, so I have a class named base. Okay, so this is example of diamond problem. So I have class named base. Okay, and then inside that class have just a method called call me. Okay, and then it will calculate the num base. And then I have left and right, so similar to that Wikipedia, B and C, right? And then again, I override the base class, okay? So there is a call left and calling right, okay? And then I have at the bottom, okay, I have class bottom here that is multiple inheritance of both left and right. Now the question is because, okay, left and right already override the call me method of class A, the base class, what will be Python calling, right? Calling at the bottom is calling left or calling right. Okay, so when you run this, you will see first calling base, and then calling left, and then calling base again, and then calling right, okay, and then calling bottom. You see, that is how the Python solve the dead diamond problem. All right. So one of the solutions, if you want to avoid that dead diamond problem, is to use super, meaning you explicitly tell which one you want to use. So, okay, in this example, this is the solution. Can you see it? So you use super. This super mean what? This super mean super of the left, that mean base, right? Again, in the right here, inherit from base, that super in here means base again. Okay. Now, if you use super in here, in the bottom class, okay, that will call based on the MRO. So in this case, look at the calling. Okay, first call base and then call right, and then call left, and then call bottom, which is correct for that. Can you see it or not? So earlier, okay, the base was called 2 times, right? So now the base right, left, bottom was called 1 time, all exactly correct. So this is how you solve the diamond problem. Oh, up to here, any question? So if you want to forget about this, basically trying to do is don't use multiple inheritance.
Okay, sir, it's clear. Sir, just to make sure, so super parentheses will only call the first inheritance once. The base.
In this case, because they are using MRO, right? It will call based on the left.
Oh, so it will not call the base on the right
Correct.
because left is first. Okay.
Okay. So MRO will select, okay, with this based on left to right. Okay. If you have multiple inheritance 1, 2, 3, then it will start from 1. Okay. Okay. So clear, yeah? Next is another lesson called polymorphism. So in object-oriented programming, okay, polymorphism, poly means many, morph means shape, right? So meaning that you will have many forms, okay? One program can have multiple interface, multiple form. The same method will behave differently or accept different input depending on the type of object. Okay, actually Python have full of this polymorphism. I give you an example. When you put object 1 to 4, this is an example. Object 1 to 4. Now, depending on the type of object, right? If the object is actually a string, then it will give you the 3 first character. Oh, no, not the first. From 1 to 4, right? 3 character. But if the object is actually a list, again, it will produce 3 elements, right? So, another example, if you say left plus right, okay, left plus right, depending on what is the object type here. If left plus right are numbers, okay, it will produce numbers. If they are left plus right are string, automatically it will convert to string. If they are list, it will also convert to string. Okay, so what is polymorphism in this case? You use the same name, okay, but depending on different type of the input, it will produce different output. Okay. This is very nice because now class, okay, is now become polymorphism. You can accept input of integer, you can input of string, you can have accepting input of list. Without this polymorphism, okay, in the old days, we need to create different function. Say you are using C, example, not using Python, okay? For string, you will say plus of string. And then for integer, you will say plus of integer. And then for floating number, you will create another function, floating class. Okay, so different class, different function for its different data type. Okay, long time ago was like that. So now using object-oriented programming, using polymorphism, you don't need to think about that anymore. So this is an example of polymorphism. Say you define class cat, okay, and then you say the cat sound meow, and then you have defined another class dog. Okay, the sound. Look at the sound here. Sound, the same sound, you know, the same method. Okay, but different object, and then it will return woof woof. Okay, now you create a common interface, name it sound test. Okay, and then it will create pet as an input, and then you return the pet sound. Which sound? Which sound depending on the type of pet. So say kitty is a cat, buddy is a dog. Okay, then you said kitty sound. Okay, sound test kitty. Buddy sound, sound test buddy. So kitty will sound meow, buddy will sound woof woof. Can you see it? The sound test, okay, receive an input pet. Pet is undefined. Okay, depending on what is the definition of that pet. If the definition is cat, it will behave meow, right? If the pet is actually a dog, it will behave with sound woof woof. Is it clear?
So it's pretty similar with if, right?
Yeah, similar with if, but
It's
now
clear
you
that-
don't need to do it if.
Yeah.
Okay. Like switch, like if elif, you don't need to do that. So for your program, you can create something like this, right? I remember Joy and Livy create a program and has this problem. You have so many elif, right? So then you can create class for each and then create a common interface. Okay. Okay, until here, clear about polymorphism? What is polymorphism again?
Classes that will return different outputs depending on the inputs, right?
Yeah, depending on the type of the input.
The type of the input, yes.
Yes, depending on the type of the input. Good. Okay. Maybe this is the last, but this like the most important lesson is the difference between composition and aggregation. Okay, I will share. Okay. Okay, so it's important here. I will share my screen. Where is the screen? Okay. Okay. Now I need to touch the software engineering. Okay. So in mechanical engineering or industrial engineering, there are certain drawings, right? In civil engineering or architect, there are certain drawings, right? That when you do that drawing as the design, for example, that drawing is called blueprint. Okay, when you create that blueprint, the engineer will create the blueprint, and then why is it called blueprint? Because it's color blue. Okay, and then you print it blue, and then you bring it into the project in the field, okay? Give to the technician in the field. They need to build exactly like the drawing, right? That is how you design a building. The same thing, the blueprint, you put it into the workshop, in the industry or in mechanical engineering workshop, okay? They will create the machine exactly like the blueprint. Right? So how about software? Okay, in software, there is also a blueprint. That blueprint, there is a standard. Okay, that standard is called Unified Modeling Language, UML. Okay, so there are many drawings in UML. So this kind of drawing, can you see it? This is called class diagram. It's a box. So if you have Visio, for example, this is the problem. Okay, if you have Visio, okay, Microsoft Visio, right? Can you see this in software? Right there. Can you see the menu here?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, these are the UML. Okay, UML class. Okay, UML use case. Okay, UML. So many UML. State machine. UML activities. Okay, so then all you need to do, say for example, class, you will have packets, you have a class. So all you need to do is to drag and drop, right? Can you see that? So drag and drop the class name. Okay, I will show you a little bigger. Okay, so there you will have, for example, a bank account, right? This is UML drawing, okay? So this is the blueprint that you will create the class in drawing rather than in code. As designer of the program, okay, your job is to create this kind of drawing called UML. You got it or not? So in this drawing, okay, you will create the class name. You create the interface, okay, the class name, the function name, the property name. And then you will define this property is private, this property is public, and so on. That's how you design. Okay, so if you want to implement it in class, then you put it into abstract method. Okay, so this is the example. Can you see that or not? So of course, account will have account balance as property, and then deposit and withdraw as method. Okay, this is class diagram. Okay, another diagram here. If I put the negative here, that mean private. Okay, plus mean public. Okay. Using this class diagram, then you can start to implement. Now, in that class diagram, there is, say you want to have inheritance, then this is the symbol of inheritance, an arrow like this. Can you see it? Now, the relationship between classes, okay, either aggregation, composition, generalization, association, dependency. So these are the relationship between classes. So the one that I discussed in today is only these two, okay, with this aggregation and composition. We actually already discussed generalization. What is generalization? Inheritance. Okay, generalization, when we said generalization in relationship between classes, that means inheritance. Okay, inheritance is generalization. So, and there is composition and aggregation. Different color in the relationship between class. Now, what is inheritance or generalization? Look at the arrow. Can you see the white arrow there? Okay, this means when a class is a type of another class. Is a. Okay. Student is a person. Employee is a person. Right? What is composition? Composition, we use in composition when one class contains another class. Okay. So, can you give example of one class contain object of another class? A car consists of what? The body of the car, wheels, okay,
Oh, yes, the
yes,
seat.
and so on. Yes. Okay. So one object or one class contain object or classes of another. Okay. So aggregation, when one class own but share reference to another class. So now the difference between aggregation and composition is the one that complicated. This is the one that I will discuss. Okay. And then next is the association. This is just work with. Very simple. If one object work with another class. Okay. And there is another weaker relationship called dependency. That means when one class just work briefly with another class. So the two dependency association are simple, so we don't discuss. Okay, this is example of aggregation, right? Consists of, a car consists of chassis, engine, wheel, and seat. Can you see it? Okay. So open diamond in UML, okay, meaning part and whole relationship. So you put the diamond at the whole, okay, but not in the part. So the part can be shared between the whole. Okay. So now, when the racing car, in this example, look at the diamond here. When the racing car is destroyed, the mesh is not destroyed. And the mesh object here knows nothing about the racing car object. So they are really independent, loose coupling. Okay, so this is very important. Next is composition. What is composition? Composition is special kind of aggregation, okay, contain, has a relationship. Okay, so composition or is just an association. The whole strongly own its part. What is the meaning? If the whole object is copied or deleted, then the part are copied and deleted or deleted. Okay, so you can have multiplicity 0, 0, 1, and so on. So this is example. A chessboard and square class. So every chessboard consists of 64 square. So what happened? If the chessboard class is destroyed, then all the square is also destroyed. right? So they live together, they love each other so much, yeah? So they live together and they die together. That is composition. Can you distinguish between composition and aggregation? Right? Okay, so this is another example. A block entry, okay, is made up of the introduction of the main body, okay, and then both sections are actually part of the block entry itself. So if the block entry is deleted, then of course the corresponding part is also deleted. So if they are, one is deleted and the others is also deleted, then you know this is kind of composition relationship. Okay. The third one is generalization. What is this? Inheritance. Huh? So this is a specialized parent and children. Okay. Example here. Formula One car is a racing car. Rally car is a racing car. Touring car is a racing car. So generalization represents is a relationship. So then you will see in UML, this is an open triangle. Okay. Usually, we put this as an abstract. So if you want to make it abstract class, then you call this abstract in the class diagram. Okay. So this is an example. Relationship between block entry and wiki page. Right. So block entry inherit from article. Wiki page also inherit from article. So you already know how to implement this, right, in Python. Inheritance. Okay, generalization means inheritance. And this is the multiple inheritance that we just discussed a while ago with the that diamond a while ago. Okay, drawing is something like this. Okay, so I want you to, okay, the rest is just association, is work with. So radiologists consult with lawyer class. So this is nothing. Okay. Okay, until here, is it clear when I discuss about UML?
Yes, I think it's clear.
So, inheritance model is a relationship, right? Now, another type of relationship is called composition and aggregation. Okay. In both composition and aggregation, we have container and the part. So the container is the component or the parent class. Okay. The part is basically the child class or the composite. So what is the difference? Okay. What is the difference between composition and aggregation? Okay. In composition, if we delete the container object, the parent, then the part is automatically deleted. In aggregation, the container and the part are living independently. Deleting the container does not delete the part. And the part knows nothing about the container. Okay, so yeah, I gave example a while ago already. Now, here it is. Example in code. Can you see it? The example of composition here. Okay, we have class called component. Okay, when you initialize the component, okay, it will just name it component. And then it will define the method name, right? It will return component, but I put property decoration here. That means the name will just name will become property rather than method. And then I create another class called composite. Okay, the component is the parent or the container. The composite is the part. Okay, again, name is composite. But look at this line. Self-com equal to component. What is the meaning of this? This is the one that make it composition. This line. Okay. I will copy and paste here so that you can see the line number.
Sorry, you are not screen sharing.
No? Okay. It is. Can you see this? Example of composition. I have two classes. Okay. One is called component, the other one is called composite. Okay. It doesn't inherit. Look at this. Component and composites, there is no inheritance. You see this? Empty, right? But inside that composite, I call component. I call component. You see? Self-com is a component. Then, when I call composite, this is the part, and then I say print, what will happen? It will say print self-name. What is this self-name? The composite, right? And then it's using self-com name, which is the component. Can you see it? So, in this case, what will happen if component is deleted? What happens if component is deleted? The parent is the component, right? The composite is the child. So what will happen if the component, which is the parent, will be deleted? Then of course, the composite, which is the child, no longer working. Okay, you see, the whole, okay, and the part are linked, tightly coupled. Okay, because now composite depends on component because of this line of code, line 13 here. Can you see that? Okay, so let's make it in contrast so that you will see. Okay, I create another example here of aggregation. Okay, this is the example of composition, right? So in aggregation, okay, again I do the same for the component. I do exactly the same. Okay, initial name component, property name. Okay, but okay, when I want to print in composite, okay, when I want to print, I need to call component name. See, the input is now is not just self, okay, but I need to have input of component name. So what happened is, when I delete the component and I replace it with something else, it will still print. The composite will still survive. So this is called loose coupling. This is the example of loose coupling. Okay, there are design that is tight coupling, and there is design that is loose coupling. Which one is better? Loose coupling or tight coupling?
I think it is loose coupling because it doesn't really affect the
Yes. Okay,
ones.
is correct. So when you design, okay, prefer aggregation to composition. Okay, when you design, try to do it as loose coupling as possible. Okay, so, and I give you the example of the code, right? How you will do loose coupling, isn't it? Okay, you, instead of putting inside the component inside the composite, so you just put it outside. So the component and the composite live hand in hand together.
Sir, but the classes are still the same, right?
The classes are
The code in the classes are
a
exactly the
little bit
same.
different in print.
Oh, wait. Oh, so we use self, comma, component name. Okay.
Yes, a little bit different in the print. Okay, look at the composition a while ago. You see this? That component class is inside composite.
Hmm. Yeah.
That means now composite dependent on component, isn't it?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So when we delete component and the composite will not run.
Yes, when you delete component, composite will not run.
Yes.
Okay. So, but in here, when you delete component, the composite still run. Okay. Of course, now the name you change it into something else. Okay. Of course, this line of code in 19 will be different, right? But basically, they are more independent. Okay. There is relationship, but loose. The relationship is loose. Okay, not inside. Clear, yeah? So when you design, again, try as loose coupling as possible. Why? Because using that, you can reuse. Okay? If your design is tight coupled, tightly coupled, then you need to reuse the whole thing, both component and the composite, right? But if you make it loose couple, then you can reuse, okay, for different purposes.
But sir, aggregation and composition are similar with inheritance, right? They basically
No, different. You forget. Inheritance, we put, you remember in inheritance, in the name of the class, you put like this, inheritance, this one. Can you
oh
see?
we put the
The
parent
name of the
name.
parent,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
Okay, totally different. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So in inheritance, it's very clear. The dependency is clear, right? The child is really inherit from the parent. Can you see that? Okay. So please distinguish between inheritance, composition, and aggregation. Yeah. inheritance is rather clear because the name of the parent is there, right? So the one that is a little bit difficult to understand is the difference between aggregation and composition. Okay. But if you look at this, the code, then you can see. You see that in composition, okay, the parent class inside the child class. It's called inside. Okay, both are correct. Okay, I did not say, oh, this is you must avoid. No, I don't avoid because composition mean container, right? Depending on the actual meaning in the real world. Okay, but if both are the same, then you prefer aggregation over composition. Okay. Yes, you have a comment, question a while ago?
I have a question, sir.
Yes, just leave it here.
For the aggregation, if we delete the class component part, the code will still run, right? So why we need to write the component class?
So in aggregation, you see, I call container equal component, and then I call part equal composite, right? And then here, part print container name. But I can change this. For example, I have another class. It's name it teapot. Okay, the teapot has certain name. Then I can part print teapot name rather than the component. So if I delete the component, the teapot exists, the part still can work. Can you see that? Say I create another class here, yeah? Class teapot, for example. Huh? And then in the init, I have I name it teapot. Okay. So I delete the container. See, I delete it. Okay. So of course, if I delete that container, this one is not working, but the print still working, you see. I can name it teapot. So I will call this T equal teapot. Oh, teapot has no attribute name. Teapot has no attribute name. Please. Oh, okay. Sorry. Teapot has no attribute name. But I do have teapot name. Let me check. T name. Teapot, correct. There is. So, okay. Teapot have no attribute name, but T has. Okay. T name, there is. Right? So, say in this case, look, I have part, okay, and I create like this. What will happen? So component is now using teapot. So the container class exists, but I delete it. So when I deleted the component, okay, or the container in this case, okay, the composite still exists, correct?
Mhm.
As long as I can change it to add something else, right? But look at this example here in composition, right? The component, I don't need to call. Why? Because the component is inside here. It's already called inside. I never call the component. The component was called inside the composite. They don't live separately. They live together and they die together. Can you see the difference? In aggregation, they live separately. I can even delete them, no problem. They still work. Even if you don't delete them, for example, they still work, no problem. Because they are loosely coupled. Right? So let's try this. Oops, sorry. Let's run this. So still do the same. I can call it the spring. So you will see. Composite using component, composite using depot. Okay. They are loosely coupled. In here, no. They are inside. So you cannot see what is component here from outside. If you don't see the class, okay, you only want to use, right? Then you can use only this part. You don't know what is inside. Then you need to go inside to see, oh, this composite is actually calling component. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes. So you need to go inside the class to see what is inside. Of course, this code is rather simple. In real classes, you will see so many lines of code. Then you start to get confused, right? Which one which? So to distinguish between class and method, okay, the standard name is like this. If it is class, start with capital. You see this? Component. C is capital. That means this is a class. Okay. And then if it is a method, you will use lower capital, lower letters. Print here. Look at this. Print is a method. Okay. Then you will see print is actually method, not a class. When you say C composite here, this is not a method. This is a class. How do you know? Capital letter. Okay. Well, this is not necessary, but it's really helpful, right? To distinguish between class and method. Okay. Any question? Sorry, Divi? Pancha? And
I have one more question, sir.
yes, please, please.
The part define name, there is a property, right? Like, why you must make it like property instead of method, or
It's
can-
optional. It's optional. You don't need to have this, so you can remove that. Okay, but if you remove that, the name must be the component, right? Then this must be component name with something like this. You need to have a parenthesis at the end.
So it is up to us if we want to use property or not.
Yes, it's up to you. So that whether you will use parentheses or not, right? See, I remove the property here, but if I remove that, I need to use parentheses in line 16, right? If I use property decoration here in line 6, I don't need this. Parenthesis is removed. If you put property and you still put parentheses, it will create error.
Okay.
Okay. So you define it. It's optional. It's not must do this, but it's optional.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So clear, yeah? Okay. The last part is easy. The last part is just module and package. Okay. So module in Python is just a file, right? So usually one class is one Python file, meaning one class, one module. Not necessarily must be like that. You can have one file consists of many classes. That is also okay. Okay. So now if you have two Python files in the same folder, okay, you can import a class from one module and use it to another module. For example, I have a module named ifn.py. What is this? This inside have one class which is called ifn, right? Then this is how I will create. So net is equal ifn.ifn parenthesis. What is the meaning? The first ifn here is the module name. It is the file name. The second ifn there is the class name. Okay. So if you have several classes inside one module, okay, then you will call them one by one. So for example, in module database, which is a standard library of Python, okay, there is query class, database class. If you want to import both, you will just say from database, import big database and query. Okay, my question to you now. I give you example this. Oh, anyway. So, what is the meaning of this? From database, import database and query. What is the meaning? What is this small letter database? If this exists, what is the meaning? This small letter database here represents the module. That means the file name. Okay. The capital letter database here represents the class name. Query here is also another class name on the same module database. You see? Do you have a question? Is it clear or not? This is how you import anyway. This is often you use.
Yes, it's clear, I think.
Yeah.
I think we have used it multiple times as
Yeah,
anyway.
you have done this so many times already, so I think it's clear. Just to name that this is the file name, this is the class, okay? Okay, so in package, now, if you have many files, now, okay, your project is getting bigger, right? So, meaning you have many modules, then you can create some kind of nested hierarchy, nested folder, okay? So a package is a collection of modules inside one folder. Okay. Now the name of packet is the name of the folder. Now you need to tell that to tell Python that this is a package. How do you tell Python that this folder is a package? Easy. Okay. You create a file, empty, usually empty file. But the name is important. The name must be init with 2_ before and 2_ after. Init py. Okay. Without that file, Python will not be able to import. Okay. Using that file, Python knows that this is a package. So this is the agreement between Python. Oh, up to here, you have any question?
No, sir.
No, yeah. Okay. So in Moodle, we have two more part of lecture in programming, which is video analysis and one book. This is a book by Al Srikart, Automate Boring Stuff with Python. I hope you read this book. It's really very nice. Okay. Al Srikart is the author of PyAutoGUI. You can check his video in YouTube also. Okay, let's try today. The next lesson is OpenCV. I'm using very old version of OpenCV. Okay, and at that time, OpenCV was only for Python 2, but actually now you already have a Python 3 version, so the first installation is not really applicable for you. Okay, try to use, let's search in OpenCV in Google, Python 3, right? There, in PyPy, or you want to use Anaconda. Okay, so then you install this OpenCV. Okay, so let's install, can you install the OpenCV? So I will go to Anaconda Prom, right? And could be that. You can also install the OpenCV in your laptop or your computer. Huh? So OpenCV is very nice module for image processing and video processing. Okay, now I already installed, right? Then you can start. Check that. Let me check if it is working. I'm not sure. I create a new workbook, Python 3. Okay, and oh, it's working. Okay, so import CV2, and then you check the version. I get the version 4. How about you? Did you get it?
I just got mine.
Okay, then all you need to do is copy and paste this code. Okay. After you copy and paste and run it, okay, and I will explain what is the meaning. Is it work? Oh no, what is not working? There is show. error. Hmm? Is it working in your computer? Let me run it in Spider. No, the same error. I'm not sure why.
Mine works just fine, sir.
Oh, in your computer work fine.
Yeah, my camera was open suddenly.
Oh,
Video
good, good.
capture. Yeah, and it's flipped out.
Yeah, it flipped out, right? So,
Yeah, it works.
why? Because I'm using Zoom. That's why it's not working.
Oh, try turning off your camera because I think like the laptop can't use like two webcams at the same time.
Okay. Okay. I'll try.
But the code works, yeah. I
The
was so
code
shocked because it suddenly appeared.
was still not working in mine. I don't know why.
No, you need to turn off your Zoom.
I need to turn off the camera in my.
Yeah, in Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's supposed to work. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It works. Good. Okay. So then, okay. Let me explain the meaning. Okay. The meaning is rather simple, right? So, the first line. What is that? Did I share my screen? No. Okay. Let me share my screen. So the first line is just import NumPy, right? You know NumPy already, so by this time. Second line is import the OpenCV. Okay. Cap in here is the capture. So you use the first camera, which is camera 0. If you have a multiple camera, you can have 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, so OpenCV can capture several multiple camera. So while true, okay, so it will read frame by frame. So red in here is return value. The return value will be 1 if the feature is captured. Frame is the image. And then line 11 is basically just flip left, right. And then line 12 is just flip up, down. Okay. Line 15 is just to show. And then line 16, when you click Q, when you press Q, it will quit. Break means go out of the while loop, right? And then line 20 and 21 is just to release the memory, okay? So that it will not create error. Up to here, any question? Did you run it?
Yes, it also works on mine.
Oh, good, good. Okay, let's try another one. Okay. Saving video. Can you check the code of saving video? Again, you copy and paste. So the meaning is rather simple also. You set the file name, output.avi, right? And then you put the image size that you want, right? And then frame per second that you want, okay? And then you capture the video as before. And then, yeah, whatever you put there before you press Q, it will save as a video file, output.avi. Is it working? Did you try? So you capture yourself, right? Just copy and paste. Is it nice? Are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm trying it out. Wait.
Anyone want to share the screen so that we can see? Okay. So this is the basic of capturing video from your camera. Okay. You can save your video. The next code is just loading and playing the video. Okay. Again, you can just copy and paste the code.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, why mine cannot work? Because the error said that no module name CV2.
Oh, did you install?
Install CV2.
Did you No. You don't install CV2. You install Honda install something like this. I will
In
show you.
Conda Prom.
Yes, in Anaconda Pro. Okay, can you see it? This is the code that you need to install.
Oh, okay. The whole thing.
The whole thing. Huh?
Okay, thank you.
Install CV2. You put Conda install -C Conda for OpenCV.
Okay.
Okay. There is no module CV2. The name is OpenCV. The package name is OpenCV. CV2 is just the class. Okay. Vivi, you have problem?
I still don't figure out how to run the video capture and then save it.
Oh, but the first code is running or not?
The first code is running, but I don't get it. How to save the video?
The save, the second code, that is the saving.
Yes.
The second code depends on the writer. Video writer, CV2.video writer, is it working or not? Okay, let me check. I will just copy and paste and try to run it. Oh, it ran. In my laptop, I have no problem.
Yeah, it's running, but how to save it? Like,
Oh, it's already saved, automatically saved. You go to your folder. It will have output.avi.
folder.
Where is your folder? Where do you run it?
Wait,
Share your screen so that I can help you.
okay. Share screen.
But to share screen, you need to quit first. Okay, that is the folder that you are using. Going down. Oh, sorry, the same thing. Yeah, going down. Is there any something.avi in that folder? There, output.avi there. Count 30 megabyte.
Oh, this one.
Yes. You go to using the Explorer, File Explorer. In the same folder, you go to File Explorer. Where is that folder name? Can you show again? Up, going up, going up until the end. Oh, this is like in, where is this? In C? Is it in C? Okay, open your File Explorer. Okay. Where do you put this Anaconda? Is it in my document?
Wait, I forgot. I think Anaconda.
Or in C? No, not in C. Where the Anaconda is running?
I forgot because I haven't organized the file.
Hmm. I think. Go to your prompt, that command prompt there.
Oh, I think here.
No, I don't think so, because if in here, you will have all this file there.
Oh.
That command prompt, the black one, yeah, there. Can you see? What is the, oh, you are not running from there. So where is your Anaconda running? There, okay. That Anaconda is running in what folder? There, user ASUS app data. User ASUS app data. There, user, C, user, ASUS app data. Where is app data? Can you check the prompt a while ago so that you can see the actual name? There. ASUS app data roaming Jupyter. App data. Oh, there, output there. You have it there, output.
Oh, this one.
Yes, click. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good. Good. Eileen, Joy, Mancha.
Mine works just fine. Yeah, I found the output as well.
Okay, good. How
So
about
it is automatically saved.
automatically save until you press Q?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Eileen, what do you think?
Wait, I think I need to start record again because yeah.
Okay. Is Joy suddenly disappear? Okay, so you try to load and playing the video. So all you need to do is to copy and paste that code. Right, so I'll share my screen. This code. Okay, this code is to load and playing the video. Of course, the name of video is already there with this output .avi. So look at this, the difference. A while ago, you have video capture of 0, but this time you have video capture of the file name. That's the difference. Okay. Can you see it? Okay. A while ago, you have video capture of 0, right? This is to capture from the screen, okay? From your camera. In here, video capture of file name. That means you don't capture from the camera, but directly load the file name. That's the only difference. Okay. The next code is to change the window size. That is easy. You use a scaling factor, for example, scaling factor of 0.5, okay? Or you can have this, the one that I put as comment here is actually the code that you can uncomment, right? Then you can have smaller windows, okay? So half of the original frame. Of course, you can change to 25 and 0.1 and so on. Or even you can make it bigger. Okay.
Sir,
Yes,
I have a question. Wait.
please.
Why is it asterisk instead of number?
Which one?
This one.
Oh, meaning that's still running.
Oh,
You are still running that OpenCV. You did not put Q. Did not quit yet. It's still running the while loop.
but I think I have pressed Q.
You have pressed Q, then you use the kernel restart.
Oh. Yes.
Restart. No, restart only. Don't run all. Okay, and then you do it one by one again.
It's the same.
Yes, this is supposed to. Is it running?
Is it running? But the camera doesn't work.
The camera doesn't work.
Yeah, nothing happened. Like just wait.
Your camera to zoom should be off.
Yes, I have turned it off.
Okay, and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work in Jupyter, you should try it in Spider, probably.
Okay.
A while ago it was working, right?
Yes.
But now
But
it's not working.
yeah, no, it's not working. I don't know why.
Oh, I don't know why.
Wait.
You close the kernel, interrupt, and then copy and paste that, and then put it in Spider.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let me put-
So it seems like Jupyter problem. Yeah, if I use my camera, it will not work. Because only one camera. Is it working now, Livy?
Wait until
Okay.
copy the code.
So how is it, Pancha, Joy, Eileen?
Mine is working, sir.
Working, huh?
Yes.
So, Joy? I think Joy has a problem now. Pancha, is it okay?
It's okay, but I cannot open the output.
You cannot
I found
open.
the output. The output is in .api format, right? And I
Correct.
open it, even though I already use like VLC.
You cannot open the output because you are opening it in Jupyter or in.
I've tried both, and I cannot open both of them.
Okay. How about the code that is to load and
Sorry, sir.
there is a code of loading and playing video there.
Oh, so we cannot open it normally.
You're supposed to be able to open it normally. There is no problem. You use a Windows Explorer and then double click.
Yeah, but I cannot do that.
You cannot do that. So there is some.
I've also changed the. I've also like changed the output into MP4. I tried it as well, but I cannot
It's
open
not
it.
working also.
Yeah.
So usually the codecs is the problem. So I use MGPEG, right?
Sorry, sir.
In this code, I'm using MGPEG.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Right. That one, you can try to search in Google what is the other codec.
Okay. And then I just changed the MGPEG into that codec.
Yes, that is one of the possible problems. Okay. Okay. Once you can do this, you can go to the next and next code all. Okay. It's very nice. You can play with your video of yourself. Okay. You can check, you can do a lot of things, right? It's detection, smoothing. You can superimpose one over the others and so on. Okay. And one of the technique in image processing is to do what is called thresholding. Okay, you create a mask, and then you combine the mask and your video. Okay. So I can show you. This is the example of a mask. Okay, mask is basically black and white, right? And then when you combine with the video, you will see something like this. Okay. And then you can partially uncover the cell. So another method to get in OpenCV is to create a contour. This is useful when you want to check, okay, the area, the bounding box of that. And optical flow is another method, okay, to actually check the speed, okay, the speed of your movement. So to detect the motion, you can use image different. So using this image different, okay, you basically can create a camera that can capture the change of scene. So the simplest application is to detect, okay, of some changes. Okay. You try to use this. And the last part is face detection. So it will detect your face using HAR. In image subtraction, you will remove the background, or you can get the background. So all you need to do is just copy and paste of those code. For face detection, you need to download the XML first. You just search the XML over the internet and then download it and put it into certain folder that you use. Okay, so all the practice that you need to do is just copy and paste. Very easy. So okay, so where are you? Is it all working? Devi, Joy, Eileen, Mancha?
I still cannot open the
You still
file.
can open. But a while ago it was working.
No, I didn't try to open it first. I thought like I already found the file, right? And then I thought it could open, but no.
Okay. So but video capture is working, only the file is not working.
Yeah. But
Fine.
and when I get the properties of the file, it's only 4 kilobytes, which means it's probably not safe.
Okay. So
And I've also tried to change the codec, and
not working.
I changed the output into output.mp4. I can
And not working.
yes.
Okay.
I changed the output into output.mp4 and changed the codec into mp4v because based on
Yes, and Google said that, right?
Yep. And
But still
it
not
doesn't work
working.
as well. The same.
Okay.
It opens the camera, and then when I click Q, it closes the window, but and it actually creates a file here, but I cannot open it. Yeah, but and when I get info, it's only 4 kilobytes.
Oh, so there is a problem.
Yeah, I think it's with the codec. I don't know.
I guess so. I guess with the codecs is the problem.
When I
You can
one is like this, right? MPG and
MPG.
MPG pack.
No, MJPEG.
Oh,
MJPEG. MJPG.
okay. So like that. It also doesn't work. The one that
It also doesn't work. Yeah.
They look the same.
Yes.
Even though I open it with PLC that usually can open anything. But
Right. So I think there is a specific problem for your laptop
Yeah. I'll
Because of Apple, I'm not sure.
yeah. I'll find it on Stack Overflow maybe. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway, that doesn't make that the next code is not working, right? So say you cannot save, but you can still manipulate it online,
Yes.
that you can actually do transformation, for example, color transformation and so on. So without saving it. In fact,
Yes.
actually, I try not to save it because it will make very big file.
Okay.
Okay. So that you can still work on it without saving it. So there's no problem with that. As long as the capture is working. If the capture
It opens the camera and it shows the camera in the window on the window.
okay, then it's okay. It's supposed to work. Only the codec is, I think, the problem. Okay, how you? Eileen, Joy.
It's still okay.
Okay, really? Okay,
All good, sir.
all good. Okay, Livy.
Mine is working with Spider.
Okay, so you continue, okay, until the bottom of that page, until background subtraction. Can you? Just copy and paste. And make it work. Yeah, if not working, you go to Stack Overflow or Google to check why. Yeah, like what Pancha did a while ago. Okay. So for next week, okay, I hope you read the book of, what is this? The book of R. Swigart, Automate Boring Stuff with Python. Okay, this is an open book. Okay, and what I want you to do, you have learned all of this anyway, right? What I want you to do is read chapter 20. Okay, read chapter 20 of Automate Boring Stuff. Can you see this? Okay, this is the book. Everything you have learned already. So go to the last part. It is chapter 20. Of course, if you want to read the whole book, that is good. Okay. For my own children, when they were still high school, I asked them to read all books, the whole book, and then they need to practice. And even though they were still junior high school at that time, they were able to solve all the programs here, the assignment, okay, because this book is really good. Okay, read chapter 20 at least, just one chapter, and you will start to see. Okay, you install the PyAuto GUI, and then it will explain everything there. Okay, try the code there. Okay, and think about what application you can make using this. Okay. Okay. So I think we have passed the time already. So, okay, thank you very much for today. Okay, if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me again during the week. Next week, you need to present your group project. Yeah?
Okay, sir. Thank you. See
Okay,
you.
thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Alin,